keep a great.
Watching out for you in Southern Oregon and Northern California. This is Newswatch 12 Weekend at 11.
The United States soccer team is about to begin its journey home after an overtime loss to Ghana. Good evening, I'm Emily Wood. Ghana scored 3 minutes into overtime, leading the Black Stars to a 2-1 second-round victory. Stephanie Tsai has the latest on a tight game that kept fans on the edge of their seat around the world.
To deal with, and Asamoah Gyan has scored!
Ghana scored the winning goal early in overtime, catapulting the team into the quarterfinals.
He's done it! Landon Donovan again!
But it wasn't enough. Not even Donovan's second-half penalty kick could spur Team USA on to victory.
Early in the overtime, we go down again, and it was just at that point, with everything that we had put into the game physically, we just didn't have enough after that.
In Ghana and around the world, a fever-pitch air of excitement and anticipation hung over the entire match. From Camp Leatherneck in Afghanistan, where U.S. troops watched the game, to downtown Kansas City, where anxious fans held their breath. In the end, a loss for the Americans.
At the moment, it's just a stinging, tough defeat.
While Ghana's win keeps hope alive for an entire continent, the Ghanaians are the last African team still playing in the first World Cup on African soil.
We feel that we have a continent behind us, that we have Africa behind us, and that's giving us a lot of energy to fight more.
Stephanie Tsai, ABC News.
High temperatures were in the 80s and 90s for many locations in Southern Oregon and Northern California today. Meteorologist Milt Radford is in the Weather Center to let us know what we can expect tonight and tomorrow.
Well, we'll see some mostly clear skies overnight, and temperatures will be a little bit warmer than what we normally see for this time of year. We're expecting temps in the 50s for the coast, for the valleys, and also for Northern California, dipping down into the 40s for the Klamath Basin. Mostly clear skies. The high pressure will continue to build over us tomorrow, and we'll see temperatures that'll likely be the warmest they've been so far this year. Cooler temperatures, though, return next week, and I'll be back with a look at the extended forecast in just a few minutes.
The Oregon Department of Forestry is declaring fire season to start July 1st. The fire danger in Jackson County is currently low, but will move to moderate next Thursday. Fire season affects all state, private, county, and Bureau of Land Management forest lands in Jackson and Josephine counties. Last year, fire season was declared about 2 weeks earlier on June 19th. The fire season restrictions that will go into effect on July 1st are no burning of debris, and any use of fireworks on forest lands will be prohibited. In Colorado, the Cow Creek Trail wildfire burning in the Rocky Mountain National Park tripled in size today due to strong winds. The fire grew from 250 acres to 800 acres this morning. Because of hazardous conditions, no more ground crews were sent into the area. Firefighters have had to attack the fire from the air with helicopters and air tankers to drop water on the fire. The oil spill disaster on the Gulf is bringing people together to stand against offshore drilling. Today, beachgoers in at least 30 states joined hands for 15 minutes, forming Human Change. Florida Governor Charlie Crist also took part in the Hands Across the Sand protest. The symbolic protest did not stop a new assault of toxic crude from hitting another sensitive wildlife area, the Chandeleur Islands, off the Louisiana coast.
The reason it's so valuable is because it's a huge nesting and sanctuary for seabirds, pelicans, seagulls, terns, all seabirds. Very, very heavily populated with nests right now.
More pollution could be on its way. Tropical storm Alex is gaining strength. Current forecasts have it missing the spill zone, though its winds are likely to churn the heavily polluted waters of the Gulf. 1 year after Michael Jackson's death, fans around the globe paid tribute to the superstar singer yesterday. But questions still remain about his death and who is responsible. David Wright reports on a new lawsuit from the family and how the world is remembering the King of Pop.
Only a tight-knit group of people got anywhere near the King of Pop's crypt, among them Michael Jackson's family members and lawyers. Most of the fans stood outside looking in, no matter how far they traveled to pay their respects.
I live in Atlanta, and this is probably my 6th time here.
and I just think it's sad.
They gathered at all the Jackson landmarks, outside the gates at Neverland Ranch, at the Jackson family home in Encino, at his childhood home in Gary, Indiana, and at his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Many left tokens of remembrance.
Michael Jackson is literally a superhero slash angel. Not just to me, it's everyone else in the world. Everyone recognizes how truly special he is. My entire life, I just wanted to be like him in every way possible.
Not everyone feels that passionate, but plenty of fans around the world miss him. From Beijing to Taiwan, from Copenhagen to Kiev, they moonwalked in his honor. Billie Jean needs no translation. Proof, if there ever was, that nobody can do it quite like he did. Michael Jackson's music and showmanship isn't his only legacy. There's also his endless legal woes. And on this anniversary, a new chapter. His father filed a wrongful death lawsuit against his son's doctor. The suit, filed in federal court, seeks more than $75,000 in damages from Dr. Conrad Murray for negligence because he provided the singer with the mix of sedatives that authorities say killed him. A loss still fresh for many of Jackson's fans.
It's just that, he's the only idol I've had, all my life. And everything he did, it meant a lot to me.
They will mourn him for many years to come. David Wright, ABC News, Glendale, California.
Grill masters are battling it out this weekend in Central Point. Coming up, what you can expect at this year's Battle of the Bones. And roosters are crowing in Rogue River next to sights and very loud sounds from the 2010 rooster crow.
Southern Oregon River Dogs finally back home after a 6-game road trip. We'll have the highlights later in sports.
Introducing combined cash allowance on select Ram 1500s.
Watching out for you in Southern Oregon and Northern California. This is Newswatch 12 Weekend at 11 with Emily Wood, meteorologist Milt Radford, and Kirk Flatter on sports.
The barbecue battle is on in Central Point. The annual Battle of the Bones allows the public to pick the winner for Best Barbecue. The event is a fundraiser for the Central Point Parks Foundation. It features more than 50 different beers and wines available for sampling. The star of the show is the 10 barbecue competitors cooking nearly 5,000 pounds of pulled pork and beef brisket over the 2-day event. The battle continues tomorrow at Twin Creek Park from 12 to 8. The Josephine County Animal Shelter is celebrating a new hiking trail for pets and their owners. The animal shelter held an open house today to feature pet adoption, dog licensure, and its new hiking trail sponsored by the Grants Pass Josephine County Chamber of Commerce ambassadors. The shelter has not received general funds from the county for 3 years and has operated off of dog licensure fees and donations from the community. If you are interested in adopting a pet from the shelter or to volunteer, call the number on your screen, 541-474-5458. The Rogue River Rooster Crow not only challenges the city's best fowl, but it also asks for the best crow in a crowd of humans. Newswatch 12 photojournalist Evan Bell introduces us to the longest and the loudest on the Rogue.
It's Rooster Crow!
Close to the mic. What do you make of this?
It's funny. These roosters are crowing and it's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Give her a hand. Way to go, Rebecca.
I'd say it's better than the 4th of July. I just like the atmosphere, and all the people here are nice.
If you didn't come this year, put it on your list for next year. It's great. Every year's better. Every year's just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
And like we said before, what a perfect way to enjoy this nice sunny 80-degree, 90-degree weather, and it's going to get even hotter tomorrow.
That's right. We got some warm temperatures headed our way, and then a little change coming after that. But for tomorrow, it will be hot. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, a live look out over Medford on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. And this is brought to us by AirportChevyCadillac.com. Watching out for you. This is Newswatch 12 Weekend at 11.
Now at KFC, our 8-piece value meal is just $15. 8 mixed pieces of original recipe or Kentucky grilled chicken, 2 large mashed potatoes and gravy, and 4 biscuits, all just $15. Don't cook tonight. Save on an 8-piece value meal just $15 at KFC.
We're giving you 60 days to see why Chrysler Town & Country has more buyers than any other minivan in history. So if you need 60 days to decide, take them. But we think it'll earn your loyalty in about, 60 seconds. The Chrysler 60-Day Pledge. Purchase a Town & Country, and if you don't love it within 2 months, bring it back. Just one more reason to drive Detroit again.
Or in lieu of the 60-day return offer, get 0% financing for 60 months or $2,000 combined cash allowance on Town & Country.
Over the years, we've tried some creative ways to let you know about Superior Windows and Doors, and it's been fun. But we take windows and doors and you seriously. When you come to one of our showrooms, you will find people who truly care. We're your neighbors, and we will spend the time to get to know you, your home, and your needs. So please, stop by, touch and compare the many brands we carry, such as Atrium Windows. We will help you to make a choice you'll be happy with for years to come.
I'm one of many renegade managers who are making big changes to Sizzler. The suits at corporate only see the bottom line. For us, the bottom line is our guests. If corporate knew what I was doing, the only thing canned in this place would be me. We pledge to only serve fresh ingredients, prepared from scratch, and at the same value you've come to expect. This week, try my Renegade deal, a 6-ounce flame-grilled steak, plus our endless salad bar with over 50 items, all for just $9.99. So come in, experience the revolution. The Sizzler, better than ever.
Say good morning to what matters most to you.
Good morning, America. I'm Robin Roberts.
And I'm George Stephanopoulos. Breaking news this morning.
Making a difference. Getting to the bottom line. Because if it matters to you, it matters to us. Good Morning America on ABC.
We still have high pressure building in over the area, so we expect more clear skies tonight and sunshine tomorrow. The clouds are staying well to the north of us, and that will continue till we get a little bit of a change in a few days. Those clouds will start to work their way down from the Gulf of Alaska with some cooler air, not cold, but just a little bit cooler than what we have right now. We saw highs today in the 80s and 90s in many locations. Redding made it up into the low triple digits for a high today. 83 degrees in Klamath Falls, the overnight low 41, and in the Rogue Valley, upper 80s today, 88 in Grants Pass, and 89 degrees in Medford for the high temperatures. And the overnight lows were pretty close to average for this time of year and will be in a similar range overnight tonight. At this hour, we're down to 61 degrees in Klamath Falls and 71 degrees in Medford. West side locations are mostly in the 50s and 60s across the area. Brookings at 53, Crescent City at 54 right now. Across the country, it was really hot yesterday. It did cool down a little bit today. 99 yesterday, 90 today in Denver. Quite a few Rocky Mountain locations, 5 to 10 degrees cooler. And out along the Atlantic seaboard, temperatures today about 3 to 5 degrees less than what they were yesterday. Still more severe weather concerns over the northern plain states in the Dakotas and into Minnesota and Iowa and across that area. There have been numerous watches and warnings today for potential tornadoes and still some thunderstorm warnings at this late hour as this cold front slowly tracks off toward an easterly direction. For the tropical storm Alex, the winds have calmed a little bit in the past couple of hours, down from sustained maximum gusts of 65 to 60 miles per hour and changing directions ever so slightly. It was west at 12 and it's now in a west-northwest conditions out across that particular region. Well, for the bigger picture in the Pacific, high pressure out there, that low up in the Gulf of Alaska, but again, this is a strong enough high that it'll keep the clouds out of here through tomorrow and maybe into part of the day on Monday. For the south coast tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, light winds, temperatures in the mid-60s. Over the mountain locations, we'll see temperatures in the mid-80s tomorrow under some sunny skies. Over the Klamath Basin, 80s and sunny. back up into the 90s across Northern California. And we'll also see some sunny conditions in the Rogue Valley and temperatures up there in the low 90s for most locations. 7-day outlook for the coast. Some mostly cloudy conditions on Monday. After that, a little bit of partial clearing and temperatures staying in the 60s until about Thursday, when things are expected to cool just a little bit. In the Klamath Basin, that cool down will start on Tuesday, and temperatures will be staying in the 70s for the rest of the week. And for valley locations, including the Rogue, we get down to about 75 degrees on Wednesday with some partly cloudy conditions. Again, that low pressure coming down from the north. Doesn't look like there's much moisture support with it, but just a few passing clouds and cooler temperatures. And I guess after 95, 75 might feel good.
I think people will take the cooler temps because one thing everyone had in common today was they were sweating out in the sun. I'm sure you were.
That is
getting
true.
Baseball going.
Really?
People were still, though, out watching the game.
Yeah, they were out and enjoying it, and why not? You know, the Southern Oregon River Dogs back in action at home at Harry and David Field, finally coming back after a 6-game road trip. They were playing against the Colt 45s tonight. Those highlights coming up next in sports.
Price sells cars. Before you pay too much for your next car or truck, get to Lithia Honda of Medford, where Price sells cars. Nobody in Southern Oregon sells more new or certified pre-owned Hondas than Lithia Honda of Medford. Get a 98 Pontiac Grand Prix SE for $39.88 or an 01 Chevy Blazer for $59.88. If you're looking for a great selection of all makes and models and flexible financing, we've got that too. Get to Lithia Honda on Central in downtown Medford. Shop LithiaHondaMedford.com.
Welcome back. Yankee legend Yogi Berra once said, "When you come to a fork in the road, take it. If you're confused, you're not alone." Southern Oregon River Dogs didn't know which path to take on their first road trip. First, they lost 2 of 3 at Folsom. Then they won 2 of 3 against the Nevada Bighorns. Thankfully for the Dogs, that road trip is over. River Dogs back home to take on the Colt 45s out of Reading. Pick it up in the bottom of the third. 2 outs, 2 on for Johnny Omahen. He goes right back up the middle for the base hit. 1 run comes home to score, and the River Dogs go up 3-2. But Reading stays in this thanks to the arm of Dallas Chadwick. Here he mows down Nick Rhoda. To end the third inning, still a 3-2 ball game. Defense also keeping Reading in the ball game. Bottom of the fourth, same score. Take a look at Drew Lesson out there in left field. He goes all out and makes the diving grab to end the inning. Chadwick still going strong on the hill. He gets Rhoda again to end the 5th, so it's still 3-2. Door still open for Reading in the 7th inning before John Flynn nails it shut. Strikes out Aronson Perry. River Dogs go on to win 3-2. These teams play a doubleheader tomorrow at 1. American Legion Baseball, a lot of local teams in action across Southern Oregon. Medford Mustangs starting up a 6-game road trip with a doubleheader against Roseburg. They dropped game 1 2-0. Then they turned it around in game 2 and were leading 8-1 in the 6th. That was the last update we had. And Corvallis came into Grants Pass to beat the Nuggets 13-8. Football in June. It's music to the ears of any fan of the gridiron, but fans in Southern Oregon have had to wait a little bit longer for their fix. First home game of the Southern Oregon Renegades was postponed earlier this month, but the wait is over. Renegades taking the field tonight against the Portland Raiders. Second quarter, Renegades lead 13-0, and from the Portland 9-yard line, this is Alvin Thornton bruising his way in for the touchdown. The extra point puts the Renegades on top 20-0. Later in the second, offense not really working for the Raiders, so they're going to try a 45-yard field goal. That actually squeaks its way in through the uprights. Makes the score 20-3 at that point, but the Renegades just dominated in this one. Late in the second, Raiders trying to make something happen, but that QB's got nowhere to go but the ground. Huge hit. That's Francis Cessa Passaria. Yeah, I got that name right. Renegades cruise in this one. 42-10 is your final. Their next game is July 10th in Bellevue, Washington. It's been comeback after comeback for the United States in the World Cup, but as we saw today, there just wasn't enough magic for them to advance against Ghana, the only African team remaining in the tournament. Landon Donovan and the Americans were trying to advance to the quarterfinals, just didn't have enough today. Let's take a look at what happened. 5th minute, this is Kevin Prince Boateng with the goal. U.S. fell behind early. That happened all through this tournament. Same score in the 62nd minute. Clint Dempsey gets taken down. That forces a penalty kick for the Americans. Another chance to come back for from behind, maybe. Landon Donovan comes through in the clutch. Ties the game at 1 goal apiece on the penalty kick. U.S. seemingly had new life at that point until the 93rd minute. Ghana's Asamoah Gyan slips away from the defender and scores the heartbreaker. Ghana goes on to win by the final score of 2-1. And after the game, a frustrated Tim Howard says they just ran out of gas.
We've had to put a lot into the last couple games, and maybe today it was a bridge too far. Maybe it took its toll, but you know, that happens sometimes. You can't always produce magical moments, you know.
After fighting so hard all tournament long, Team USA just didn't have anything left. Just ran out of gas there at the end of the tournament.
They needed some words of wisdom from Yogi Berra.
I think that's probably what would have put him over the top.
Could have led him in the right direction. Thanks, Stephen. A grandfather's handiwork in Oklahoma is attracting tourists from across the country. Coming up, his 80-foot masterpiece and why he built it.
I'm 1, I'm 2, I'm 3 times all into you. Inside my heart it still beats. I'm 4, I'm 5, I'm 6 at the best of times. But inside my heart it still beats. Bum, bum.
Engineered so well, it's been named one of Car and Driver's 10 best more times than any other car.
Newswatch 12, #1 in Southern Oregon.
What started out as a treehouse for the grandkids has turned into an 80-foot-high castle complete with electricity. Gan Matthews takes us on a tour of the Grand Playhouse in Carter County, Oklahoma.
This is Lenny Wood's masterpiece. As you can see, it's well, it's sort of a, I'll tell you what, let's let him explain.
What exactly is this behind you?
It's a treehouse for my grandbabies. I have 8 grandbabies.
Using leftovers from home building sites, Lenny Woods has spiraled the treehouse around a 60-foot oak tree.
And I got over 1 million nails in this sucker. And an engineer told me that the way I built this, he said, this thing is structurally sound, even though it don't look like it.
Woods took us on a tour inside the treehouse, which is equipped with enough electricity to power some Christmas lights. Then we climbed and climbed and climbed all the way to the top.
It's 80 feet to the top, and it's quite a hike. But the view, it's unequaled. Lenny Woods believes this is the largest tree house in the state and maybe even in the world.
Besides being a playhouse for children, over the years, Woods' creation has become a tourist attraction.
There's just been, well, people from New York, California, Florida, Alaska have all seen this treehouse. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Tennessee, and just people keep bringing them out here.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Just remember, one man's trash is Lenny Woods' treasure.
So, Mel, you have grandkids. Will you be working on an 80-foot treehouse?
I'll be pushing that past the zoning board here in Medford.
See if they'll approve it?
Yeah, if they'll approve that.
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah. But I would like to build it. That'd be fun. Yeah.
It's going to be a good day for building tomorrow. Hot, though.
You might want to work indoors tomorrow. We're looking at a high of 93 in Medford, so very warm conditions. It'll stay sunny through Tuesday. We have a few clouds coming around the middle of the week, a change in the weather pattern. It'll be coming down from the north, and that's one of the reasons those temperatures will cool off a little bit into the 70s. But then slowly we work back up toward the 80s just in time for the weekend. And so even though we have some low pressure coming down, it's probably going to be very dry. We don't anticipate any significant showers for the week ahead.
All right. Thanks, Milt. Thanks for joining us for Newswatch 12 Weekend at 11. You can catch us anytime online at KDRV.com, where we have the most up-to-date news, weather, and sports. Our next newscast is tomorrow night at 6. Have a great night.
Newswatch 12 is part of the Chambers Communications family, with stations in Medford, Klamath Falls, Eugene, and Bend.
Digital cameras and camcorders always work better with long-lasting batteries. That's why.
You're watching Newswatch 12.